Returning to Germany for the first time in 23 years, the FIM International 6 Days of Enduro is set to add another thrilling chapter to the FIM sporting calendar. We are here in the region of Chemnitz, an area rich in motorcycle history and manufacturing, which lends itself perfectly to an event such as this.
Various riders and teams competing in the 2012 FIM International 6 Days of Enduro came out for the opening ceremony beforehand, presenting their candidature for the various titles up for grabs in this year's competition. The route on days 1 and 2 departs from Sachsenring, heading along a 125-kilometre lap of the region. Thalheim, Zwonitz and Erlbach are taken in along the way. On days 3 and 4, there is a path through Erlbach, Venusberg, Schuspau and Bornischen, setting off in the direction of Marienburg. Then there is a route that leads the riders along the other side of the region on day 5. Then it's into the Sachsenring paddock for the final showdown, the closing supermotor style clash at the road racing course.
In the women's team category, the French are the ones to beat with 4 consecutive wins to their name. Second last year were Team Finland, and they'll be in the run-in, but will they be putting in a repeat performance?
We start with the women's trophy. And we start where else but day 1 at the Sachsenring, taking off from the Sachsenring paddock for that grueling 125-kilometre journey. The women heading along through Thalheim, Zwonitz and Erlbach, leading from the famous road course used for World Championship events. France got off to the best start possible in the FIM Women's World Trophy team competition and headed the standings after day 1. Already almost 8 minutes clear of nearest rivals Australia, the French trio look to be the team to beat. Behind them, the battle for the runner-up position was a tightly contested affair on day 1 between Australia and home nation Germany. Finishing just over a minute behind in 3rd position. Germany would look to close the gap to Australia on day 2. The USA and Finland completed the top 5 after the opening day of action. On day 2 in the FIM Women's World Trophy competition, France continued to extend their race lead. Untroubled at the front of their class. They would now hold a 14-minute advantage over their nearest rivals, Australia. Although unable to challenge the leading French riders, Australia would now head 3rd place Germany by 8 minutes in the overall standings. looked as if it would be Australia and Germany battling it out for second place even at this early stage. The halfway mark not yet reached in the women's class. On to day 3, and France extended their advantage. Headed by team leader Ludovine P of Gas. They were now at 39 minutes clear of second placed Australia. However, with Germany ending day 3 as runner-up to France, the home nation had now moved to within 6 minutes of Australia. Germany with home advantage, and with top rider Nina Oppenlander leading the way for them as they reach the finish line on day 3. Behind the top trio of nations, Finland and Sweden completed the top 5, and France looked all but assured of victory with only 2 days of racing remaining. The action from day 4 saw them again setting the fastest time of the day. They led Germany by almost 1 hour and 40 minutes. After the 4th day of competition, the battle of second place saw the Germans move ahead of Australia. Clearly enjoying the muddier and more technical conditions that the competitors faced on day 4. The German team moved into second place, 16 minutes ahead of nearest rivals Australia. And on day 5, France ended the penultimate day of the 2012 FIM International 6 Days of Enduro, firmly cemented in first place, leading host nation Germany by nearly 1 hour and 50 minutes. They were just 24 hours away from clinching the class win. Germany remained in second position at the end of day 5, but needed to ensure a mistake-free final day to hold on to the runner-up spot. Australia delivered a strong performance on the penultimate day and reduced the gap to Germany to less than 9 minutes. On to the final test. Day 6 highlights held exclusively in the Sachsenring paddock. Supermoto style shootout held at the tight and twisty Sachsenring circuit, involving part of the road course. France easily secured the win with a victory on day 6, unchallenged throughout the week. They finished over 1 hour and 52 minutes ahead of second place Germany. With a healthy 9-minute advantage over Australia, the host nation set the 4th fastest team time of the day to secure second overall. With Australia finishing on the 3rd step of the podium, Sweden and Finland completed the top 5. France cross the finish line first on day 6 and take the overall win in the women's trophy.
For me, it's a perfect 6 days, and for me, it's the last 6 days because I want a baby. So for me, it's a good 6 days. I win, and I'm very happy.
France for winners of the Women's World Trophy, Germany in second place. Australia completing the podium ahead of Sweden and Finland. The French the favourites, and they run out the overall winners. They take victory in the 2012 FIM International 6 Days of Enduro, the Women's Trophy category.
The riders, the mechanics, the teams, the officials are all ready to start. It's now time for the first day with the World and Junior team categories.
On to the opening day of the Junior World category. The opening day of this year's International 6 Days of Enduro. Seeing some early casualties as well. France's Junior Trophy team rider Kevin Roma hospitalised with a punctured lung following a crash on the first enduro test. They expected to be as dominant as their senior team. France ended the day in a surprising 4th, whilst Italy topped the timesheet. Great Britain were just behind them in 2nd, and Australia's junior team rounded off the top 3. Danny McCanny, one of the leading riders overall in enduro, and he stated his claim for an individual honour soon after.
It's been a
tough day, but we've had a good result with the team. This is the important thing. The times are tight and it was difficult because enduro is very hard and very long. We didn't have any special rivals, which helped a lot, but all the team had a good race, and leading the way after the first day is always good.
Però abbiamo fatto una buona gara tutta la squadra e adesso siamo primi alla fine della prima giornata, quindi iniziare col piede giusto è sempre molto buono.
Italy then the surprising leaders at the end of day 1, Great Britain in 2nd, Australia 3rd and France in 4th. Day 1 of the World Trophy in the 6 days provided dry weather for the riders, easing them into the tough 6 special tests and more than 7 hours in the saddle. The enduro test was the most gruelling part of the day, and everyone was looking to establish an early lead. As expected, France's World Trophy team were the fastest out of the blocks, establishing a sizable early advantage at the end of the opening day in Germany. Pellerene, the fastest but least experienced ISDE performer for France, ending the day as the overall quickest individual performer. France were out in front. Australia not having a completely smooth start, despite being only 4 minutes behind France. Their rider Toby Price crashed heavily on lap 2. Defending World Trophy team champions Finland ended day 1 in 3rd, just 3 seconds behind the Aussies. And the Spanish were also in action on day one in the World Trophy. Spain placing fourth in the team competition with their lineup of Victor Guerrero, Lorenzo Santolino, Ivan Cervantes, Cristobal Guerrero, Armand Monleon and Aaron Bernandez. That team placing just ahead of Italy. The main riders not doing so well on the opening day as the junior trophy class team.
The uphills were real nice.
Yeah, the feeling was really good. Two tests are not so difficult, but the enduro test is really difficult and it's easy to make mistakes. So I try to ride easy and smooth, and I make good time. Today, this evening, French team is first, and I'm leading the scratch, so I'm really happy about this day.
France on top at the end of day one, Australia just a few minutes behind them in second, Finland in third place after the opening day of action.
On day one, France dominated as expected, but we also saw a little confusion with the timing as the evening drew in. Now, it's really difficult to get an event this size running smoothly without the occasional bump. Let's take a look at just how important a factor such as timekeeping is to get right.
Time to look at timing and the ways the event organisers keep track of who is doing what at the International 6 Days of Enduro.
The time checks are to control the riders for her time plans. Yeah? They become time plans before the race begins, and they must look at its time plans that she drives correctly the times.
At the time check, he has a given time by the organizer, and he has to be there on that minute. If you're 1 minute late or 1 minute early, you get 1 minute penalty. If you're 2 minutes late, you get 2 minutes penalty, and it's very difficult to make up 2 minutes on the test, even 1 minute, because we are counting the hundredths of the second. Between the tests, the riders go on the public roads, so we have to make sure that they ride according to the speed limits and especially through the villages, that they are not speeding, and so that it's safe there. That's why they have the schedule, so that they don't gain anything by speeding through the village.
We have like a time card where we put on where they put on the time, and we need follow like our time.
The transponder gives the signal to the PC, and we can see the driver's number, the rider's number, the time of the rider, and then we write on the list on the card from the rider. So the rider can drive to the next special test or time control. The timekeeping is very, very important for this race. Yeah? We control the riders, we control the time, and the riders have a list and card to can document the time. Yeah? So it's very important.
Highlights from day two in the Junior World Trophy, and Great Britain moved their way to the top of the Junior Trophy team standings on day two, helped by a great performance by Danny McCanny. With Italy well and truly out of the running due to two mechanical retirements. Great Britain were able to pull ahead, and France moved from third up into second. They were just 38 seconds behind the Brits. The French team having missed a rider on day one through injury. An early casualty for the French team. Nonetheless, braving through the rest of the 6 days of Enduro. The USA moving up into third place. The Australians in the running for the victory. They weren't going to let Great Britain get away early on. Australia up into fourth position on day two of the Junior World Trophy competition.
My day's been a lot better today. I was clear of the slower riders, so I was able to put in faster lap times and stuff, which I was a lot happy with. I think I ended up quite good, so I'm just looking forward to the rest of the week now.
Great Britain leading the way in the Junior World Trophy. France moving up to second, just behind them. The USA up into third. 2 days into the FIM International 6 days of Enduro in Saxony, and already riders were dropping like flies. Kevin Romer had crashed out of the competition on day one in the Junior Trophy. And Spain's World Trophy racer Cristobal Guerrero had separated his shoulder on day two. Up at the sharp end, France extended their lead by a considerable margin, now 12 minutes ahead of second placed Australia. 4 of their 6 riders would occupy the top 4 positions in the overall individual standings. Australia 12 minutes behind after 2 days of action in the 2012 competition. Australia's World Trophy team doing somewhat better than their junior team, who had some problems with Ben Burrell, forced out of the event due to mechanical issues. Italy had remained in third position at the end of day two. The Italian team upholding their end of the bargain and looking to challenge for second place. Finland slightly further back in fourth position. And the Spanish squad just behind them, despite the problems for Cristobal Guerrero. Guerrero separating his shoulder on day two and ending his race.
The day was not so bad. I take the third place today, and I'm always first in a scratch for 1.5 seconds from Meo. So it's a good day, and the French team French team take a lot of minutes front Australian.
France, though, lead the standings. Australia in second place. Italy moving up into a third place. Finland just behind them in fourth.
Day 3 of the FIM International 6 Days of Enduro 2012 Germany. It's going to be a longer day than usual, close to 8.5 hours. We're also moving to a different part of the countryside with more enduro tests than we've seen so far. It's going to be a tough day for the men's trophy teams from all over the world.
Junior Trophy Day 3 action. Once again setting off from the Sachsenring paddock. And it will be France who worked their way back to the top, where they would push to close to 1.5 minutes ahead of Great Britain, the leaders after day 2. The French team overcoming the deficit and then some. Team leader Matthias Bellino once again provided a strong showing, and France had become the favourites for victory at the halfway mark. Great Britain held a commanding lead over third-placed USA, meaning that it looked likely to be a duel between France and Great Britain for the Junior Trophy. The halfway point reached in the Junior World Trophy. A natural order beginning to be established. The British team consisting of Danny McCanny, Alex Rockwell, Jack Rowland and Steve Holcomb. They were some 8 minutes ahead of the USA, who occupied third spot after day 3.
Pretty tired now, but today's been a lot tougher than the others, with a lot more technical stuff to get along, and the tests were pretty much like they're hard in the other days, so it has been a long, tough day, but I'm glad to finish in one piece.
France then moving to the top of the Junior World Trophy standings. Great Britain relegated to second, but still ahead of the United States. 3 days in the World Trophy class, and France had extended their lead to 19 minutes. That was thanks to another top run in which 4 of their riders placed at the top of the overall individual classification. France rooted themselves to the head of the team competition in the event held in Germany. The French team consisting of Antoine Meo, Rodrigue Tahin, Johnny Albert, Pella René, Sébastien Guillaume and Christophe Nambotin. They were ahead of the Australians, who again delivered a solid performance as the event reached its halfway point. Italy round out the top 3 of the World Trophy competition. As things go past the halfway point, Alex Salvini, one of their riders, competitor on the indoor scene in the Super Enduro World Championship. In the overall classification, French riders once again dominating. Antoine Meo topping the results ahead of Pela René, Christophe Nambotin and Johnny Albert. Australian Toby Price rounding out the top 5 on the individual stage. Spain in 4th place despite the loss of Cristobal Guerrero after day 2. And the USA still in 5th place. Just a few seconds behind the Spanish. Certainly a surmountable deficit.
Difficult, you know, it's a very long day today. 8 hours on the bike was difficult, but in the end we make a good job, you know. Actually with the bike working very well, and the staff behind us was good, and all the team French working good. Then we take a big cap now on the front, so it's good. For me it's better because I make a good operation for the overall, you know, and we see what's happening.
France the runaway leaders after day 3, ahead of Australia by almost 19 minutes. Italy are in 3rd place.
France are still ahead of the teams, but Danny McCanny of Great Britain is still finishing consistently as best junior. If he can hold out ahead of Matthias Bellino, then it could be quite an upset in the expected standings.
Day 4 in the Junior World Trophy, and although not establishing the same advantage as the senior squad, France's Junior World Trophy team were nonetheless 2 minutes ahead of their closest challengers. The team of Jeremy Joly, Matthias Bellino, Alexandre Querer and Kevin Romer, the rider injured on day 1, were out in front by almost 2 minutes. They and Great Britain really the only contenders for victory. The USA a further 11 points down, and Australia seemingly out of the running. Danny McCanny doing his best to pull Great Britain right back into it. USA in 3rd place, the team of Travis Coy, Andrew DeLong, Tadeusz Duval and Jesse Groom.
It was an hard day because it was raining all night, so it was really muddy and slippery, and I don't like a lot this condition, but I have to finish the day and for my team, and we are leading now, so it's a good day for us.
After day 4 in the Junior World Trophy, France lead the way by almost 2 minutes from Great Britain. The USA are just trailing that duo.
We know that rules are very strict on who can work on a rider's bike and when. The bike is the rider's responsibility, and if anything was to happen, the rider is the one to fix it. Just what are these rules for the riders and the teams, and how do they tackle these repairs?
Just before the World Trophy action from day 4, we take a look at how the riders fix up their bikes for the action.
Yeah, like over the 6 days, a lot of things can break, and it's like brake pads and the spokes and that get like pretty loose. So you just got to keep a check on those all the time, and yeah, you've just got to make sure you keep the air filters up to them, and just change oil in the gearbox so that you hopefully last the 6 days.
The most common damage today in the enduro test is probably bending levers and gear levers and stuff like that. There's a lot of stumps and roots. You're catching your pegs all the time on them, so I can imagine that's the most one here.
The thing that I can do, I can change oil in the bike. It's that I can make for him, and filling cooling water, petrol, and also oil in the brake system I can do and take the air out. But otherwise I'm not allowed to touch the bike. If I touch the bike, I do anything, for sure it's out.
You're only allowed to work on your bike with the tools what are in the service check, or you can work on your bike on the course, but only the tools what you've got in your bum bag.
The check that we're at the moment, we come in with about 20 minutes to spare, so this is about the best one we get to really run over the bike and make sure it's good. But the other checks we only come in with about 5, maybe 6 minutes, so you're mainly just trying to get a bit of water and fluids into yourself and a bit of food to keep the body going and keep the body fueled up.
With 2 days remaining at the 87th FIM International 6 Days of Enduro in Saxony in Germany, France's World Trophy team had extended their lead to a massive 32 minutes. Once again, the dominant forces in the individual classification, Antoine Mayo, Rodrigue Tahin, Johnny Albert, Pela René, Seb Guillaume and Christophe Nambotin were now all but assured victory in the World Trophy class. They had been the favourites coming into the competition and lived up to their reputation. It would take a disaster to knock them from the top spot, but Australia were ready and waiting. Australian hardman Toby Price, who broke ribs on day 1, and Glenn Kearney, who split his knee open on day 3, requiring internal and external stitches, both started and finished the day, helping Australia hold on to the runner-up spot. Price still smarting for that big knock to his side. The rib damage hurting with every bump in this competition. Italy remained in 3rd place, some 7 minutes behind the Australians. And further behind them were the Finnish team of Eero Remes, Antti Helsten, Roni Nikander, Juha Salminen, Jari Mattila and Marko Takala. The Spanish were still in 5th place. Down a man with the loss of Cristobal Guerrero. They're still soldiering on. They were just over a minute behind the Finnish team. Spain in 5th, Finland in 4th. And even further down the order, Chile represented in this international 6 days of enduro, competing over in Europe.
I think today for me it was an advantage with 300 two-stroke in this condition, and this morning I pushed maximum and to winning, it's perfect.
In the World Trophy then, France well out in front ahead of Australia. Italy still holding on to 3rd place.
Good humour remains in the French team, but the competition between the riders is getting a little bit more serious. Who's going to be the fastest overall rider is becoming more important.
The Junior World Trophy, the penultimate day of action in Saxony. And although France held more than a 2.5 minute lead, Great Britain wouldn't give up their hopes of what would be a surprise win without a fight. With 12 minutes separating the British from the USA, and with Australia a further 16 minutes further back, it will be all about the French and British riders coming in to day 6. The French team is still 2 and a bit minutes ahead of Great Britain. Great Britain still with the potential to cut that gap, though it will go right down to the wire. And the USA are still in 3rd place, looking to round off the podium. Some 12 minutes behind Great Britain, with a total time of 16 hours, 49 minutes and 49 seconds at the end of day 5.
It was good, you know, I caught some time on Danny, but I think a kid behind us caught us actually, so we were watching him all day and trying to lay down some fast times, and you know, I'm right there in the hunt now, so it'll be a fun day tomorrow, and it was a tough day today. The tests were really long and really hard, and then cornfield when it got really tough. So, I mean, other than that, it was a good day.
In the Junior World Trophy, just ahead of the final day, France out in front, Great Britain in 2nd, the only team capable of challenging. The penultimate day of action in the World Trophy, and at the end of day 5, France were firm favourites to secure victory. In the 3 premier classes, having already taken the victory in the women's competition. Looking good in the junior class and firmly out in front in the World Trophy. It looked little more of a formality for France at the 2012 FIM International 6 days of Enduro. Day 5 brought on a new course, and the French team extended their lead. Australia still behind them, but by a sizable margin. And Italy a little bit further back, some 11 minutes off Australia. Italy enjoyed a trouble-free day, boosted by strong rides from both Alex Salvini and Manuel Moni. They comfortably led 4th place to Finland. Further down the order, in 7th place were the Swedish team, led by Robert Granström. And ahead of them in 6th place, the United States. Joachim Ljunggren, one of the top talents in Super Enduro. Taking on this outdoor stage, the USA trying to catch Spain, the team currently in 5th place, the USA in 6th. And further down on the order on day 5, the Netherlands.
Yeah, today it was a big fight with Antoine. Yesterday I win with much second in front. So this morning he start with to enjoy to win. But I push all the day, and he wins some special. Me, I win also some special tests. So I win for 5 seconds, and I think tomorrow it will be very short.
France, the standout leaders in the World Trophy as they look to complete a trio of victories. Australia are in 2nd, just ahead of Italy.
Today is a beautiful sunny day at the Sachsenring circuit with huge crowds, electric atmosphere and nail-biting racing. At the end of these supermoto events, all will be revealed for the FIM International 6 Days of Enduro 2012 here in Germany.
A bit of a change for day 6. All of the action held in the Sachsenring paddock. A series of heats in a supermoto style event to round off the 2012 FIM International 6 Days of Enduro. The E1 class kicks things off as we watch some of the action from day 6, the final day of the competition. An early crash right around the first corner, that tight right-hand turn, costing riders time. France, though, firmly out in the top spot of the competition. It would take nothing short of a disaster to concede them the victory across the classes. France's trophy team riders delivered some exceptional performances during the final day motocross races. Christophe Nambotin would end the week as the fastest overall individual performer. And Australia would place deserved runners-up overall. Finland enduring a tough day though as a result of a collision between team riders Eero Remes and Antti Helston in the Enduro 1 moto class. They dropped to 5th, just 2 seconds behind the USA. In the E2 race, after Antoine Mayo had topped the standings in the Enduro 1, Matthias Bellino followed on to win the main Enduro 2 race. A 3-rider French team placing close to 3 minutes ahead of Great Britain. Italy improving on their 2011 result by 1 position to grab the runners-up spot. Team GB finishing 12 minutes up on the USA, Australia and Portugal, who rounded off the top 5. Tight and twisty action at the Sachsenring. The course taking place alongside the road circuit. And the finish line crossed with Bellino the winner. That just helping things overall for the Italian team. And battling injury throughout the race Australia had another casualty. Chris Hollis, the latest casualty, breaking his collarbone during the motor event. Victory in the E2 class, confirming victory in the junior and world trophies for France. Right ahead of the final test, the E3. It was an event that was won by Christophe Nambotin in style. The end of the week as the fastest overall individual performer. Early crashes and warnings in the E3 class. The final class in action in the Supermoto event. The final action from the International 6 Days of Enduro for this year. France winning in style, Christophe Nambotin rounding things off perfectly for the French team as they did the treble, win the Junior World Trophy, wins in the women's competition, and a win in the overall standings in the World Trophy. France heading off the challenge of the Brits. There were some big tumbles along the way in the E3 race, but nothing that affected the final order too much in the World Trophy. Victory for Christophe Nambotin in the E3 race. France the winners across the board in the FIM International 6 Days of Enduro. The French team topping the podium in the Junior World Trophy.
I tried to show him, but you know it's a friend, and I can't pass him like another rider. You know, it was really difficult for pass. It was short test, and the last lap I tried to show him again. I'm faster, and it let pass me.
The win for Bellino, confirming victory for France. Great Britain in second place, the USA in third. And in the World Trophy, stepping up onto the podium, the French team claiming victory in 2012.
It was a fantastic week for me, for team, because each team win each class, and me I make a very good week, a big fight with Antoine, and at the final I win overall, so I'm very happy.
A huge victory for France ahead of Australia, with Italy in third place, the USA missing out on the podium in fourth.
Well, that's it for the FIM International 6 Days of Enduro 2012 here in Germany. France have dominated all week and have taken the overall victory. They'll be celebrating all night, so we're going to leave you with some of the best bits of this week.